Hello, I'm Tony Craig. This is F1 Grandstand. And if you're an F1 fan, you are in the right place. So tonight, Lewis Hamilton sends a warning to the F1 grid. He's not going anywhere. Fernando Alonso, retirement back in the news, and also some mental health issues as well. Honda, though, do have some good news. They have a plan. Pierre Gasly says F1 26 is not for dummies. Oscar talks F1 26 Grand Prix starts. And Domenicali has a new plan for team launches in 2027. So lots to get into. So yes, if you are an F1 fan, of course, you're in the right place. This is your daily F1 news. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do smash a like on the video if you do enjoy it. And when you do subscribe, make sure behind that subscribe button, you've got the bell all icon ticked. That way you can choose which pieces of content you engage with. It's the start of the week. It's Monday. I'm going to say a quick hello to the chat. Hey, God, busy chat already. Sulu, Mario, Dawley's in there. Hooked on Classics in there. Gemma, Queen of the Chat's in there. Mario's in there. Kyle, of course, Kyle's in there. Drop Tune, DT, loads of you. Brilliant. So nice to have you all with us. And if you, and Nathan's in there as well. If you've just joined us for the first time and found the channel, welcome to F1 Grandstand. What you need to do, if you're feeling a little bit shy, don't worry. Get in the chat, say hello, just say where you're watching from. Very friendly bunch. We've got the best community on the internet. Come and say hello, let us know where you're watching from and get involved. It makes the experience even better when you're chatting away, making new friends in that chat window. Also, don't forget, you can also get your super chats in, guaranteed to be read out live on air if you have something you want to say. Right, okay, let's get into it. First story, Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton. Well, I love the fact, honestly, I love the fact he seems to have got his mojo back, young Lewis. Lewis Hamilton shares strong, I'm not going anywhere message. For a moment, I forgot who I was. So what's Lewis been talking about? Well, after Bahrain, I think he's pretty in good spirits. I feel like Lewis is, and he should be. The Ferrari's looking great. The power unit's looking good. Their testing program ran without a hitch. And Lewis Hamilton's had his input into this car. And yeah, it looks like it's working very nicely. I don't want to tempt fate, but that Ferrari looks like a very strong package. And for Lewis, I think it looks good for him as well. The gap between him and Leclerc, there's nothing in it. Both drivers looking like they could be almost on an equal footing. It's all looking very good for Lewis. So what's he been saying to the press? Okay, so Lewis Hamilton shares strong, I'm not going anywhere message. For a moment, I forgot who I was. Lewis Hamilton posted a defiant message after Bahrain pre-season testing, insisting he's not going anywhere. And this is a reset for 2026. So we're gonna get into it also. 7-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton shared a defiant message on social media after pre-season testing in Bahrain. Hamilton shared, that's a wrap on testing. It's inspiring to watch a team pull out all the stops to build a car. It's the most fascinating part of this job for me. Everything is built from scratch and designed and redesigned over and over. And then there's only a few of us who get to put the machine to the test. That feeling never gets old. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone in the team, back at the factory, for the hard work to get to this point. I am truly grateful. I love this job so much. I love working with my team. I'm driving for the fans. I'm incredibly lucky to be able to do what I do. And I am excited for the season ahead. This is all good fighting talk from Lewis. And then the final bit, which is the bit that really got my goosebumps going. I'm reset and refreshed. I am not going anywhere, so stick with me. For a moment, I forgot who I was, but thanks to you and your support, you're not going to see that mindset again. I know what needs to be done. This is going to be one hell of a season. I've given everything to be here today. Let's go, team. So that's what Hamilton's been saying. I mean, to be fair, like this gets me going. We saw, it was almost like a tragedy last season, wasn't it? Lewis Hamilton just getting beaten every Grand Prix by his teammate in a car that just didn't agree with him. Obviously, Leclerc had the advantage because that car had really been built around him. So, you know, you see, the talk of retirement comes out as Lewis lost it. And then you see Lewis saying things through the 25 season like, yeah, we saw Leclerc. He'd say things like, Leclerc put the car on pole. I went out in Q1, changed the driver. And it was heartbreaking. It was looking like, you know, when you're watching Muhammad Ali, where he just had all those fights too many, and you're thinking, oh, is this the same for Lewis? So for Lewis to go off, reset, come back at Bahrain, and in Barcelona, don't forget, he was the fastest of all. And I just feel that, you know, I want Lewis to come out fighting. I want him to be competitive. So when you hear Lewis talking like this, you know, Lewis fan or not, you're kind of rooting for the guy. You got to remember, he's 42 years old. He's won 7 world titles, and we want him to be competitive at the very least, right? We don't want to see him getting, you know, just absolutely trounced every Grand Prix. So yeah, I'm really quite excited about this. What do you think? I can see we've got first super chat of the night. Let me just bring it up. It's Kyle, first super chat. We've been chatting for 20 minutes. All right, Kyle. Thanks for that, buddy. And then Gisette, the sir has recovered, reset and ready to race. Yes, Gisette. Absolutely. I do feel that though, Gisette. I do feel that Sir Lewis Hamilton has gone through a reset. He is coming to this season with a different mindset. I feel the big thing is that his team seemed to be behind him. And that's what he needed. He needed the team. He needs a team to be behind him to deliver him a car. And then what does Lewis have to do is Lewis has to show the team that the car they've given him, that he is wringing its neck, getting maximum performance out of it. So this is all good news if you are a Lewis fan. And it's good news if you are a Ferrari fan. So yeah, I love to see it. And it sends out that fighting spirit, that fighting message that Lewis has come to play in 26. And also, when we get to our later story with Pierre Gasly, where he says F1 26 is not for dummies, I think that plays in to Lewis Hamilton's strengths, actually. And I think we're already seeing that, the early signs at testing. That's what I think. Kyle says, I'm there, large monster eggs and 2 cups of coffee in. Are you talking about, oh yeah, because Sema's in the chat. Yeah, Sema, I really do think that getting them coffees down is what you need over in Australia. Hello to new people in the chat. We've got Nizzy Priddle. It appears that a lot of content creators and F1 commentators always making subtle hints that Lewis should retire, yet turning a blind eye to Alonso. Well, Nizzy Priddle, funny you should bring that up. Our next story tonight is actually, as I think some people are unaware what we do here. So what we do here is we react to the Formula One news, right? We don't always get the chance to write the news, but we react to the news that's coming out from the news outlets. And our next story tonight is all about one of the news outlets is pointing at the story of Alonso's retirement. And we look at all the news that's coming out in the day, and then we discuss it as a community. So that is our next story. We will be talking about that. Absolutely. And what we try and do is be completely fair, right? We discuss what's coming out in the news on a daily basis. Some of it we call bullshit on it, and sometimes we join up dots, we speculate, and we see what we think is actually being said. So that is how we work here at F1 Grandstand. And occasionally we do have some friends in the paddock, and we do get some little tidbits, which means that we do get some stories which are better, and we can be first. But overall, that's the point. We're a community that discusses the news as it comes out. Gemma, thank you so much for your super chat. Lewis is back. That's a winning mentality PR statement. He's been doing yoga, and with that, it brings the whole team. Unity is the key message. I think you can't win. You can't win without having your team behind you. And Lewis knows that. And if he lost the team last season, he had to do everything he can to bring him back in, to work with him, to work hard for him. Thank you so much for your super chat, Gemma. Brilliant. Thane, Ham is still on fraud watch. He got lucky with a good car and no regulation change. Hamilton only adopted Ferrari. Leclerc was born into it, moulded by it. Still on fraud watch, Thane. You are a hard man to please, but that's what we love about this community. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and everyone can validate their opinion. And fair play. Hamilton, going to what Thane says there, Hamilton does have to prove it. Like, pre-season testing is one thing. Hamilton has to prove it at the business end. We've got a race coming up in 2 weeks' time in Melbourne. Let's see how he does in a crowd, right? Rowdy Burns. Famous quote, Days of Thunder. Yeah, there's quick overlap, but let's see how he does in a crowd. And that's what Hamilton's got to do. He's got to compete in a crowd at Melbourne. Let's see how he does. Nicky B62. When Schumacher went to Ferrari, his first season wasn't great. Same with Lauda. And actually, on that, Nicky, a lot of people go to Ferrari and all their seasons aren't too great. Actually, Kimi Räikkönen, he won in his first season at Ferrari, didn't he? 2007. And then when he went back to Ferrari, he didn't win anything. But yeah, that's true. Ferrari drivers, great drivers, it can be a graveyard. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Gisette says Thane takes more than a good car. That's a given. Lewis proves you need a car team and a driver. Yes, Gisette, 100%. 100%. Crackite says Leclerc has been at Ferrari God knows how long, over 7 years, and Lewis almost has as many WDCs as Leclerc has wins. I think that says more about Ferrari than Leclerc, in a way. I think if you're developing a car, though, and your driver, like you listen to Newey and listen to other great car designers, they all say the same thing. The feedback loop from the driver is key to developing a car. Well, this time, Lewis has been a major part of the feedback loop for the 26 car. He's admitted his DNA is all over this car. Let's see. Let's see what that does. Let's see. Honestly, but I'm so excited because the early signs at Ferrari are bloody good. Really good. Anthony Ford says proof of Hamilton and all the other drivers will be on the race course in 2 weeks' time. Exactly, Anthony. And I am here for it. Let's have it. Let me see Ferrari competing for pole. Let me see Ferrari competing for podiums. Let me see Hamilton and Leclerc, sort of jostling with fastest times. Like, I want to see it. Let's go. But then you've also got the other problems of Mercedes, McLaren, and Red Bull. It's not going to be easy. There's some sandbagging going on with those teams. So Melbourne, we are going to see what is going on. And Gemma says 2 weeks is going to fly by. Yes, it is. So yeah, I love the fighting talk from Lewis. I'm here for it. I am here for it. And I think it's good. I think it's good. So, and as one of our new subscribers in the chat said, people don't talk about the Fernando Alonso retirement question. Everyone's talking about Lewis Hamilton. Well, tonight, the Fernando Alonso retirement question is back in the press. So yes, we shall discuss it as a community. Headline is Fernando Alonso very likely to retire from F1 at the end of 2026 over Aston Martin woes. Okay, let's get into it. So it looks like the 44-year-old might be starting to think about his next career move after this unfortunate debacle in pre-season testing. And Fernando Alonso very likely to dedicate himself to goals outside of Formula One after 2026. Now, where's this report coming from? This is a report from Spanish outlet Marca, M-A-R-C-A. They shared more details about Alonso's future. They believe that it's very likely he'll leave Formula One to dedicate himself to other goals if Aston Martin can't rise to at least the top of the midfield by halfway point in the season. Honda's reliability is a massive issue. I'll be coming to that in a minute. Honda have issued a statement, but we'll be coming to that in the next story. And as well as the team being with the lowest top speeds during testing, suggesting that even when the engine does work, it doesn't work very well. No shit, Sherlock. The report suggests that Alonso could look at racing an IndyCar, the Dakar Rally, the WEC, and like Carlos Sainz's father did, he raced to a very ripe, healthy old age. And they say that Alonso could do the same thing. Like, Alonso wants to race. Like, Alonso is going to win Le Mans again. Like, he is not done as a racing driver. It's just, is he done with Formula One? And it's believed that Alonso will only consider extending his contract if Aston Martin can be on equal terms with the likes of Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull this season, which would take a monumental overhaul over the coming months. Alonso will always be the number one driver at Aston Martin alongside Stroll, whilst he still wants to drive for them. The untouchable status could change if Lawrence Stroll gets wind of the fact that Alonso might be looking to move on, as he will quickly need to find a replacement. But good luck with that. How does Lawrence, if Alonso says, look, I'm done, like, who does he get to replace Fernando Alonso? When looking at the team right now, the team doesn't look healthy. You are not going to get a top driver, a number one driver. You're not going to get a Russell. You're not going to get a Piastri. You're not going to get a Leclerc. You're definitely not going to get a Max Verstappen. At the moment, unfortunately for Aston Martin, right now, at a snapshot of that team, they look like the worst team on the grid. You're not going to do a deal getting a top driver to commit their future if Fernando Alonso decides he's going to leave at the end of this season. Everything. So really, the problem Aston Martin have got is, if you want to keep Alonso, you need to try and be competing at the top. And Alonso's, if that's to be believed, the Spanish report from Marca is that Alonso's going to decide midway, at the halfway point of the season, which comes in July, right? Which I'm guessing is before Zandvoort, where we have the summer break. If Aston Martin are still in this situation of complete struggle where the Honda power unit is underpowered, unreliable, because the big thing that came out from Bahrain is neither driver, Fernando Alonso or Lance Stroll, got a full race run done without problem. They also didn't achieve a top speed that was anywhere near competitive. So reliability, big question mark, and power, big question mark. We know the problem is with the harvesting of energy not working very well either. Then we've got the question mark about Newey's drastic aero design, because we don't know how good that is yet, because they haven't even been able to really get substantial amount of data. If the power unit's no good, how the small margins on aero, how do you really know? So there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do at Aston Martin. It looks bad, and it looks worse because Aston Martin have now got this press embargo where you can't talk to anyone. You can't talk to Newey. You can't talk to anyone at the top. They've closed ranks, and they send out Pedro de la Rosa to speak to the press. And if it's a shambles in Melbourne, that will be the same thing. You're not going to get an interview with Adrian Newey while all this is going on. I feel that's a bad move. I feel that team principal, when things are at their worst, is when the team principal needs to step up, broad shoulders, and deal with the fans and the press, not hide. That's just my belief. I don't believe a leader in any way, shape or form should hide and delegate. I think that's not what a team principal should do in sport, in competition, in Formula One. I think you need to come out and face the music, right? That's my view. You may have a different view. That's just what I think. And I think Adrian Newey hiding and pushing out Pedro de la Rosa is the wrong move, and actually just tells me that Adrian Newey shouldn't be team principal. He should own the team, lead the team in the factory 100%. And on the pit wall, 100%. But big part of the job of team principal is facing the fans, the sponsors, and the media. And delegating that out is not a good look. That's just my view. That doesn't take anything away from Adrian Newey as being the GOAT in Formula One and the respect I have for him. I just think that's a problem. And I think also when you've got these stories coming out, about your drivers, Fernando Alonso, because really what's happening here is, let's be honest, just because Fernando Alonso is going to be 45 this year, of course, it's low-hanging fruit to say, for a journalist to come out and say, well, we see all this tragedy unfold in Bahrain for Aston Martin. Well, you know what? Fernando Alonso is looking like he's going to retire because of it. And this next story is what leads into it, because they go a step further. And I think this is a low blow, but we do react to today's news, so we have to talk about it, because we don't shy away from what's being said. We discuss it all. So from the Fernando Alonso retirement story, we go to this. And again, I think this is a cheap shot. Fernando Alonso said to be on the verge of a nervous breakdown over Aston Martin's struggles. And this is the problem, right? When you've got a team principal who's hiding and doesn't have these broad shoulders like, say, a Toto Wolff would have, to come out and just face it all and fight, you get the journalists going, all right, well, you've got a press embargo. We're going to push all these buttons. We're going to come for your drivers. And Fernando Alonso is an easy target, isn't he? You can say about retirement. You can say about his relationship with Honda because of his relationship in the past at McLaren, calling them, saying it was a GP2 engine. So all of this is cheap shots. But we have to discuss it because this is stuff that's coming out. And so let's get into what's been said about Fernando Alonso's mental health. And you can tell me what you think about this in the chat once we've got through it. So it's... Fernando Alonso on the verge of a nervous breakdown as Aston Martin's rated F1's worst team. Now, this was from a column from Leo Turini, who's an Italian journalist who's very well, who's respected. And here's what he explained. He said, 11th position, Aston Martin. I'm told that Fernando Alonso is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Who told you that, though, Turini? If Honda give him another GP2 engine, I swear I'll sign up for the next Olympics with Jamaica's 4-man bobsleigh team. So what Turini says, he's suggesting that even the most brilliant people, in this case Newey, can make errors or let things slip under the radar. And that's it. That's all they say. And they put a headline out about it. Leo Turini says to Italian press, I've heard that Fernando Alonso is said to be on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And they put it out as an article. Now, why does he think he can get away with that? I don't believe, just for clarity, that Fernando Alonso is on the verge of a nervous breakdown at all. But I think that these stories coming out are coming from the fact that Aston Martin have closed ranks and they're not talking to the press. And so the press feel like, well, if you're not talking to us, everyone's fair game. And Fernando Alonso is actually an easy target because of his age. But then to say, I think they've gone way too far. Way too far. And I'm going to go to your super chats to see what you're saying. So Gisette says, here in California, I get to watch the race Saturday at 8 p.m. Yes, that's lucky you. I'm up at like early hours in the morning for Australia Grand Prix. I feel bad for him. Oscar will take his place. You feel what Fernando Alonso? Do you think Oscar could be the replacement over Aston Martin? You could. I mean, it's a good. I think it might be George Russell. Thane says replacement wheelbase arrives today. Let's race. Yes, brilliant. You're talking about your sim. Brilliant. Nice one, Thane. Gemma says, Adrian really needs to let someone else do the team principal role and focus fully on the car and integration of the Honda Power Unit. They are too far behind for this time of the season. Yeah, great insight, Gemma. Absolutely right. And then Gisette says maybe Button will get promoted. Button is an ambassador. He could be coming out and doing some of the heavy lifting with regard to the press. But I do think that Newey's the guy. And yes, Gemma, coming to this point on this article, clickbait journalism. But I think they feel they're able to do it because Newey's not out there, sending a clear message for the journalists. And I think if I'm a team principal and I see that type of journalism, I think I'm going to come out and say something about it. And so let's wrap this one up. First of all, I do not believe for 1 second Fernando Alonso is having a nervous breakdown. I do believe, though, that he's considering his future. Of course he is. He's been given a package right now that doesn't look very good. Honda unit isn't very good. And yeah, is he thinking about his future? Is he thinking, God, is this worth it? Do I want to be going round at the back of the pack for a season whilst Newey and Honda get their shit together? No, he probably doesn't want to do that. But I do have some good news, though, because Honda have a plan. And that's what I'm going to come to next, which is a little bit more positive. Because even if Fernando Alonso naturally is thinking, what am I going to do? Do I stay or do I go? Do I retire from F1? Do I slip in? I know I'm going to win Le Mans again, right? He's a great driver. He likes driving other disciplines. But here's the thing we want. We want answers. If you're an Aston Martin fan, the most important thing is, well, what are the answers to all this? Honda do have a response. Honda are increasingly optimistic they can solve Aston Martin woes before the Chinese Grand Prix. So, when is the Chinese Grand Prix? It's a week after the Australian Grand Prix. So, it's not that far away. 3 weeks. That's good news, because if you're Fernando Alonso, like I said, he's not having a nervous breakdown. I don't even need to ask anybody in Fernando Alonso's camp to find out whether he's having a nervous breakdown. He's definitely not. Fernando Alonso mentally is one of the strongest drivers on the grid. Let me tell you. That's not happening. But does this help him get him excited? Because the bottom line is you want your drivers to get to Melbourne with as positive as you can, right? Here's the problem he's got. We all know Aston Martin, that Honda engine, is not going to be sorted for Melbourne. We have to accept Aston Martin may be a bit of a shit show in Melbourne, right? They've been very ambitious with the design of the car. Honda engine is not good. So we have to accept that Aston Martin's not going to be great, right? It probably isn't in Melbourne. We'd be surprised if it is. If they qualify and they're within the 107% rule, I'd say that's all right for Aston Martin. I mean, that's how low down the pecking order they are right now. Should they even turn up to Melbourne is another question. And I would say yes, because they need to get the data of a full race run for Honda so they can help them to improve that engine. But this is the good news. I'm just going to get to Kyle's got a super chat in there. Honda's plan, buy Merc engines and Ferrari turbos. Kyle, if they could, they would, right? Because if you could Frankenstein the bits they need at Aston Martin, it's exactly that. Oh, and don't forget a gearbox as well. Whose gearbox do you take? Probably the Ferrari gearbox as well. Thank you, Kyle. But yeah, let me get into the story. Right, so this is what Honda is saying. Honda says, Honda are increasingly optimistic that they can solve Aston Martin woes before Chinese Grand Prix, which is only 3 weeks away. Sources in Japan have revealed that Honda are now becoming increasingly optimistic that they can find a solution to Aston Martin's engine issues following a dismal showing from the British constructor during F1 pre-season test. Oh, and by the way, I can see lots of all of you are watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in to F1 Grandstand. Do smash a like on the video if you're enjoying it. Subscribe if you haven't as well, and get in the chat. They're a really friendly bunch. Say hello, tell us where you're watching from, but do get involved. We're fully interactive. So going back to the story, Adrian Newey is convinced that we did it. If you look at my Newey in hiding video from Friday, I will tell you that Adrian Newey is convinced that Aston Martin will have the best chassis in 2026. He also, excuse me, but the worrying thing was that they're the only team not to simulate a full race distance during Bahrain test, and they are slower than everybody. The atmosphere obviously was not very good in Bahrain. So let's try and get some positives. Honda are optimistic about finding a solution to Aston Martin's engine woes. According to a report by Chinese Shiga Sports Japan sources have revealed that Honda have assured Aston Martin that a solution to the major technical issue in their F1 power unit will be implemented ahead of the second round of the season in Shanghai. And by the way, I should mention Anthony Davidson, commentator and ex-F1 driver on Sky Sports. He did point out that he thought it was an energy harvesting issue when he saw Fernando Alonso's car pull up. And to be fair to him, I think he was right. So well done, Anthony Davidson, for managing to diagnose that fault when Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin pulled up to a stop in Bahrain. Honda personnel have since been working around the clock to solve the issue, and project leaders are reportedly becoming increasingly optimistic over the matter. During the Bahrain test, the AMR26 was some 38 kilometers per hour behind the benchmark Ferrari engine in the speed traps. And obviously these massive concerns are whether Aston Martin will be able to put a qualifying time in Q1 that's within the 107% rule. The short-term goal for Honda is to ensure a stable and consistent level of competitiveness for Alonso and Stroll before continuing to focus on optimizing the power unit for peak performance. Honda are internally eyeing to introduce more complete package in time for Chinese Grand Prix. My question is, though, does that mean that there is going to be zero development for Melbourne, so we all have to watch this freaking horror show of Aston Martin in Melbourne and they just run a few laps and disappear? Or do they even run in Melbourne? Or do they just see what happens in testing? I don't know. Honestly don't know. Gisette, thank you very much for your super chat. Gisette says Newey is locked up in the garage with Honda to fix it. I agree with you, Gisette. Now, here's the thing. I know I've done a little bit of Newey bashing with regards to his behaviour as team principal. There's one thing I would give Newey credit for. If anybody is locked away, sat at his desk, working 24 hours a day trying to fix it, it's Newey. Of course he is. Newey is a grafter. He's not going to shun. He's not going to hide away from doing the work. That's not what he would do. He will be sat at his desk. If he had any hair, he'd be pulling it out and working day and night trying to fix it. And of course, whatever the time difference is between here and Japan, he'll be on the phone working it out with Honda. Of course he will. Same with Cowell. They will be working around the clock to try and get even some improvement by Melbourne. Of course he will. So I have faith in him to do that. He's that type of leader. I give him that. Thane says, thank you much for your super chat, Thane. Is the Aston Martin Racing pulling the ultimate sandbagging? Oh, you just tempted me with some conspiracy here. Thane, I honestly don't think so. I think this is really a truthful position. I do. I don't think this is sandbagging. Are other teams sandbagging, Thane? Yes, they are. McLaren, maybe. Mercedes, definitely. Here's the... Oh God, what, hear my voice then? Like my voice just broke again. That's crazy. Here's the thing, Thane. The real question is, are Ferrari sandbagging? Ferrari look the most complete package for me. Is there even more performance in their locker? When we heard about, we covered the Lewis story. He is so confident, right? He's saying all the right things. He's putting in fast lap times. He's doing full race runs. The engine's bulletproof. Leclerc's up there as well. Here's my real question. Is there more pace in the Ferrari that's not being shown? I do think Mercedes is sandbagging. McLaren, yes. Red Bull, yeah. Red Bull are the king of sandbagging. So, yeah, I'm going to go to Giuseppe's Super Chat because, yes, I couldn't agree with Giuseppe more. Boy, this is going to be a heck of a season. It is. This season is going to be full of drama because, one, if you're into the technical side of Formula One, because it's the first year of a major rule cycle change, and actually, compared to other major rule cycles, this is the biggest I've seen in ever, possibly. We're going to get drama from a technical point of view. We're going to get drama from the way the drivers drive these cars point of view. It's all new, baby. And like we say, when you put them in a crowd and the racing, everything we think we know from Bahrain, there's going to be a lot of hidden stuff. The starts even. And we've got actually Oscar Piastri talking about the starts today as well. God, I've still got a lot of stories to get into. So yeah, it's all going to be crazy. But I'm wrapping up the Aston Martin stuff now. The positive ending to that shit sandwich of the Aston Martin story that we just had is Honda believe Shanghai, baby. Yeah, Chinese Grand Prix, we're going to see an improved car. But we may have to see a horror show in Melbourne. We just got to grind through that if you're an Aston Martin fan. So yes, and Gemma, appropriate super chat from Gemma. Papa Stroll, Newey, Cowell, Honda in a group chat. I'd love to see that one, Gemma. I'd love to see it. So I'm going to get into the next story, which is Gasly. I like this one because I agree with him. Gasly predicts smart drivers have a distinct advantage heading into 2026 Formula One season. So what he's basically saying is F1 2026 ain't for dummies. What is he saying with that? With all the changes coming into F1 season, Pierre Gasly still backs the role of a driver's smarts in any potential success. And I agree with him on this. Smaller, lighter, and even more aerodynamic cars than years gone by, drivers are going to have to adjust and adapt to a brand new set of conditions. And we have seen that in Bahrain. It has sparked debate from technology to is it even still Formula One to an extent? But according to Pierre Gasly, the shrewd operators in the sport will have a decided advantage over others, regardless of their car's advantages. Pierre Gasly expects smarter drivers to dominate despite car conditions. In a recent Q&A with L'Equipe, this is what was said. Drivers can still make the difference, as they always have. A good driver is one who knows best how to get the most out of the car and the regulations on the day. Alain Prost worked closely with his engineers. And since no one has yet attended a race, it's really premature to think that the drivers are just passengers. Pierre Gasly told me yesterday that in 2026, a smart driver with a slower car could finish ahead of a less shrewd driver with a faster car. Gasly still backs the elite drivers in F1 to manage the new changes to the car and dominate, even if the technical elements aren't in their favour. And I agree with him on this. And what does it mean for full circle moment to Lewis Hamilton being so buoyed with his chances and his fighting talk, saying that, you know, last year is put behind him and now he forgot himself last year, but he hasn't forgot himself this year. And it's because Lewis Hamilton is a smart driver. And these new regulations will lend themselves to smart drivers, including Fernando Alonso when he gets a car. Fernando Alonso is one of, if not the smartest driver on the grid. He just needs a car. And I agree with what Pierre Gasly is saying wholeheartedly. The smarter drivers are going to benefit. And those are the drivers, actually, you could argue, the experienced drivers, the Max Verstappens, the Charles Leclercs, the Lewis Hamiltons, the Fernando Alonsos. You know, give them all a car, they're going to be competitive. George Russell's, you know, that, and I agree with him. The smart drivers will do best. Pierre Gasly, by the way, I think watch Pierre Gasly this year. Pierre Gasly, I said it, he was my underrated driver of the year last year. Absolutely. He's in a shit car. He's in the Alpine, worst car on the grid. And he was the only driver to score points for Alpine. He overperformed from what that car could do. So that's what I think. I think what we're looking at here is the smart drivers will do well, and I fully agree with him. I fully agree with him. Oh, just that. Lewis is not washed up, and he is the smartest driver on the grid. Lewis is definitely one of them. Definitely one of them. You don't win 7 world titles, even if everyone says, oh, he had a great car, if you're not a smart driver. He is a smart driver. He really is. Nikki says, need to be honest, I'm old school. Have been into F1 since mid-1960s and I really dislike all this hybrid tech. Me too, Nikki B62. Me too. But we're freaking stuck with it for now, unfortunately. And that's why, you know, Pierre Gasly is right. And welcome to the chat, Nikki. Yeah, I don't think any of us Formula One fans, Max Verstappen said it over and over again, you know, is this still Formula One? Is it Formula E on steroids? And none of us really like this hybrid stuff. I mean, I can't say none of us. There are people in this community that love the tech, like hybrid tech. They might not like the battery management part of it, but they do quite like hybrid technology to a degree. So look, we all have a different opinion and that's all great. And that's what I love about this community, that we're all able to validate and share and discuss and have banter and argue respectively about these things. That's what having a community is all about in Formula One. But going back to Pierre's point, I think he's nailed it. The smart drivers will do well. And I think that's the takeaway. And I like the fact that Pierre Gasly is saying that he's a smart driver, because I think he is. And I think Pierre Gasly is going to score a load of points. I think the Alpine looks so improved. And here's the other thing. If I had to give an award for the most improved team, looking at Bahrain, I'm sure you'd all agree with me, most improved team is Alpine right now, from P10 to a solid competing for P6, P5, you know, that's where they look like. That's what they look like. Most improved team this early. Ferrari, teams at the top, I'd say Ferrari definitely look like an improved team. And yeah, Gisette, I see your super chat. 20 years of experience, major axe to grind. And yeah, exactly. All these drivers with the experience will come good if they get a car. Lewis, fortunately, looks like he's got a car. Unfortunately, Fernando looks like he's going to have to wait for his car. But I want him. Reese Cup says better than Haas. No, Haas have improved. I would say I'd give the award to Alpine for the most improved team, but Haas and Ferrari, both massive improvements from where they were. Haas now looks like, for me, best of the rest, which is great. They look like me, the number one midfield team so far. That's what I think. And Droptune says, hybrid tech is good if used for performance. Yeah, exactly, Droptune. I see there is an argument for technology. It's just the... It's just how... I think, really, people are more annoyed about the battery management than they are about the hybrid tech, aren't they? Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what gets people annoyed more than anything, is this lift and coast, you know, super clipping, battery management. It's like, if you just built a hybrid just a hybrid engine, which was just insanely quick, had zero battery management element at all, then yeah, why not? You know, why not at least explore that? You know, I don't know. That's what I think. Oh, Nathan, I just saw what Nathan said. Poor Williams, maybe the next regs. Yeah, Williams. And here's, right, so the biggest losers from Bahrain, who I think have gone backwards, Aston Martin and Williams. Yeah. Audi as well, looking good for Sauber. There's been improvement to where Sauber would be, but they've also built their own power unit. So yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait for Melbourne. I cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for it. Peter Arnold's made my point. The battery tech shouldn't interfere with the racing. I couldn't have put it better myself. That's literally the most succinct way to put it. Beautiful. The battery tech shouldn't interfere with the racing. Oh, Zane, if I missed one, sorry, buddy, let me go back. Let me go. Have I missed one of Thane's? Are you sure I missed it? Newey's locked in his garage with Honda to fix it. I've got that. I've done that one. The ultimate sandbagging. I've done that one. Thane, you weren't listening. I've already done it. The ultimate sandbagging question. Oh, what were you doing? Had you gone to the toilet? Had you missed that one? I did about 4 or 5 minutes on that one, Thane. Question 0, super chat. Yeah, I did the super chat. How have I missed this one? Let me just check. Are you sure? Anyone that's got my love heart, I've done it. I've done it, Thane. Have a look. If it's got my little love heart next to it, I've done it. You missed it. Come on. You can't be going for wheezed. You can't be going for the toilet when we're doing a live stream. Yeah, brilliant. So, getting back to the final story. The final story. It's not that exciting. I'll tell you right now. This is just an update. Oh no, it's not. Piastri. Sugar. I forgot about Piastri. This is a good one. Piastri talks about the 26 starts. What's he talking about? So we all know the 26 starts are looking difficult. Oscar Piastri has got his take on it. So Piastri feels there's a lot of luck involved in getting a good start. Piastri has been vocal about the topic of the race starts in Bahrain. And we've seen it. We saw how good that Ferrari is off the line. We've seen how good Haas is off the line. But this is what Piastri claimed. Piastri claimed race starts in 26 are a recipe for disaster, given the variation between different drivers' launches. Obviously, we now have this ongoing problem where other F1 teams are trying to point the finger at Ferrari's turbo because they've seen they have this big advantage because they seem to have got their starts right. And now we've got this. Listen, they're not going to get. No one's getting Ferrari's turbo banned. I'll tell you that now. The race start procedure trailed over the second test meant that the starting lights were delayed to give the drivers more time to spool up. That's one solution. They've done a new start procedure, added like a 5-second delay for when the final car takes their grid slot, 5-second delay before the lights sequence starts. Does that mean Ferrari aren't going to have an advantage? I don't think so. The Ferrari's still going to get away quicker. I'm sure of it. But that's what they've done. Oscar Piastri admits it takes a lot of luck to get a good start due to F1's 2026 regulations. Piastri feels the new procedures trialled in Bahrain helped to reduce the amount of variation between different driver starts, but there is still a lot of luck required to regularly produce a clean launch and not have turbo lag and or wheel spin. Because ensuring your turbocharger is primed before a race start by holding revs, thanks to F1 removing the MGU-H from the engine regulation in 26. It's also just one of the pitfalls that Piastri sees. It'll take some time before all 22 drivers on the 26 grid that will get away from have a clean start. He also added in his official press conference, "Mine yesterday was so bad, I was last. But I also overtook 4 cars. There's still a lot of luck involved, and we're learning what makes a good start and what makes a bad one. There's still some pitfalls. You can run into those problems, but just managing the energy and the whole procedure, that's one thing. The way we start in general is also very different from last year. It's trickier in every aspect, and some drivers are managing it well right now and some not so great. But we saw Lando Norris in the McLaren get better. He got away with a warp speed start. Not as warp speed as the Ferrari, obviously, but he did manage to hit that sweet spot. So yes, what we're really taking away from this is that, yeah, starts are difficult with these new cars if you do not have Ferrari's smaller turbo. Well, that's how it is. Fred Vasseur told you this was going to be a problem. You all knew you were losing the MGU-H from the new power unit. So tough shit. Ferrari told you about it, and now you've got a very, very tricky start procedure if you're any other team other than Ferrari. It is what it is. So yeah, it is what it is, and he's right. So yeah, it is tricky starts, but what does it mean? It means that us as fans, we're gonna get to see some pretty exciting starts in the start of this season. Yeah, we're not going to want to miss Melbourne, I tell you. Not everyone's going to get it right, for sure. I think I'm backing Ferrari to get away well. McLaren is hit and miss. Piastri said it's not nailed on every time. Maybe they'll do something to help. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how they set off. But Piastri being very honest that no one's really managed to get it nailed on every single time. So we'll see that in Melbourne. We're not going to miss it though, but don't forget the watch-alongs. We'll all be experiencing it together. We'll be doing a watch-along, watching the Grand Prix. And yeah, I'm expecting carnage. Melbourne is going to be epic. You're right there, Kyle. Melbourne's going to be epic. And a final, just a little bit of news from Domenicali. Because all of the... So look, this is just a little bit of information for you guys. This season, we saw all of the teams do their team launches independently, didn't we? Some more successful than others. Unfortunately, again, I've got to point the finger at Aston Martin. Their season car launch wasn't great with regards to actually getting their stream up and running. It was delayed multiple times, multiple false starts, and it wasn't good. And other stream launches, other car launches and team launches had the same problem. Audi's I thought was pretty darn good. Alpine's was pretty decent. But yeah, we saw some better than others, obviously. Mercedes was all right. But yeah, we see what has Stefano Domenicali decided. He said that for 27 he wants to go back to one launch event, all the teams doing their reveals, and one big event, and he wants it to be like the 25th Grand Prix. Like he wants it to be a must-see event like the Oscars or something. Maybe we've seen it happen before, but last time we saw it was in 24, wasn't it? The problem was when it was done at the O2, where Christian Horner and Max Verstappen were jeered during their appearances during that event, and I think Max turned around and said, "Well, if you do this again, I ain't coming," and that's the problem. If you've got a big crowd and there's some sort of, controversy, not every driver's going to want to go. They're going to be like, if you're a sort of driver that hates that sort of stuff, you're probably not going to want to attend. But that's their plan. 27. Have this great big box office event where all the teams have to launch their liveries on the same night. I don't know what you think about that, whether you'd be up for that. I mean, we could cover it. We could do a watch along, we could have that running and we can discuss it as a community as it's going on. It might be funny. I don't know. And we could discuss all the liveries as they come out. But they want it to be like an Oscars event, like a must-see for the F1 community. That's what Domenicali wants. And that's what he's planning for 2027. So yeah, that's your news. Like I said, we do discuss everything what's coming out in the news today. That does cover it. We've got another. Thank you so much for your super chat. Just said, I see it. Want to make more dollar? Let it be up to the teams. I agree. Look, if the event. Look, I think the teams also release it because they want to release it at certain times because they've got their own strategy, right? They've got sponsors that need to be at the event. They want to give time to the sponsors to talk about their involvement with the team. Aramco, Valvoline, all there at the Aston Martin event, all getting the chance to talk. Same with Honda. Like if you've got one big event, I don't know whether you're going to have the time for your title sponsors to get their airtime involved in it. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm for it or against it. It could be car crash. It could be funny from our point of view as the fans, and we're watching it, and we're all watching it together, doing a watch along. Could there be moments where it's funny? Like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. But that's the plan. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know whether the teams want it. I don't know if they want it. But that's Domenicali's plan. And that was a little bit of news that came back today. Old Guy Chat says, TC, is Jim not coming back? I don't know. I've not seen TC. I've not seen Jim today, actually. Hope he does. He's our resident F1 engineer. Yeah, we need to get him back in. I hope he does come back in. Yeah, we like it. We like Jim's insights. Brilliant. Yeah, Jim, if you're watching, get in the chat, say hello. So that's today's Roundup of your daily Formula One news. Thank you so much for all your super chats. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much for everyone getting involved in the chat. Hello to everyone. I saw all the new people getting involved. You are very welcome here as part of this F1 community. Do smash a like on the video before you go. I will see all of you the same time tomorrow, 7:30 GMT, for more Formula One news. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Ta-ta.